quantum computing, is this now at the stage AI was back in 2014? Back then, AI was hype, it was a science experiment, but the real-world applications were still limited. Some say, including many experts, that we're now at that same point with quantum computing. We can see the potential, but still the real-world applications are somewhat limited. But now we are at a pivotal, game-changing moment. So the US government has recently announced a $2 billion investment into a variety of quantum computing companies and also taking equity stakes in these companies. And this has caused many of the quantum computing stocks to pop, including one which I covered way back in 2020. So in this video, I'm going to briefly touch on what is quantum computing, why does the US government consider it a strategic asset, and what are the three best stocks in this space, and I may even include a bonus stock which our AI hedge fund system has found. With that being said, let's dive in. Okay, so what is quantum computing? Well, in simple terms, traditional computers use binary bits for computations, whereas quantum computers use quantum bits or qubits. Now you may be thinking, who cares? Well, quantum computers offer a powerful way to solve the biggest challenges in humanity and accelerate AI. Imagine a math problem which would have taken thousands of years to solve with traditional computers. With quantum computers, it could be solved in 15 minutes. Now, this also has a downside because it means quantum computers can crack the most advanced encryption standards we have today. So think about this. Every login, every email, every crypto wallet could have its security broken instantly. And this would occur on a day that's been referred to as Q-Day. Now, this is not just a doomsday scenario. Google is targeting 2029 to secure the quantum era with post-quantum cryptography. This is also a crucial reason why the US is investing $2 billion into these quantum companies, because we are now in an arms race for a variety of technologies. This includes chips, this includes AI, and now quantum. Every country wants quantum supremacy, especially before its rivals get there first. So for us as investors, we can ride these geopolitical trends in order to generate portfolio returns in the market. Now, of course, this video is not financial advice or are any videos on this channel or a recommendation to buy or sell a specific stock. Always do your own research, always position size effectively, always time your entries, and much, much more. So with that being said, let's dive in further into these three stocks. Okay, stock number one is IonQ with the ticker symbol IONQ. Now, this is actually the stock which I covered back in 2020. So if you held through this roller coaster, you would have had a boost in 2021, then you would have had a plummet, up again, down again, and if you held all the way, you'd be up around 500%. Now, interestingly enough, this was a company which was backed in its SPAC merger by Bill Gates and also had a deep partnership with Amazon. Even a few years back, AWS gave access to certain quantum computing systems due to this partnership. So IonQ is the first pure play publicly traded quantum company to cross $100 million in revenue. So this is not just a science project like some of these more speculative quantum computing companies. This is a real player in the space with huge commercial potential. Its commercial customers, for example, now report over 60% of revenue, and its revenue guidance is around $235 million for 2026. Now, interestingly enough, the market views this company as just a pure play quantum computing company, but the company recently announced an acquisition of Skywater, which is a foundry. So this makes IonQ a vertically integrated quantum chip company, serving the entire US quantum industry. Now, imagine if, for example, Taiwan Semiconductor and Nvidia had a baby in the AI chip space. This would be this type of company in terms of it had both the foundry and the chip design. Intel used to have a similar setup a few years back. Now, but the beautiful thing is, as IonQ would own the foundry, then other quantum companies would need to use their foundry to create their own chips. This basically means in the next quantum gold rush, the company is effectively selling shovels. The company also has a $3.5 billion cash position and, of course, is a primary beneficiary of the quantum funding governed by the CHIPS Act. Now, on a technology point, it uses trapped ion architecture, and this is viewed by many as highly scalable. Of course, there are some negatives. So the company does have a super high valuation. Think about around 60 times forward price to sales. Like all these quantum companies, making a loss in terms of its profitability. But of course, they're not creating the company for profits at this stage. They're creating it for development and then for growth. Okay, now stock number 2. This company is called Quantum Computing Incorporated, ticker symbol QUBT. Now, this is a super interesting one because I've developed with my team an AI hedge fund system which scans the whole market for different opportunities. And this stock actually came up just a few weeks back because of its unusual options volume at a certain level. And so we put that on our watch list, and that was quite an interesting one. And since then, the stock is up 56% just since it was highlighted by our AI system. So I will leave a link for that in the description below. But let's get into the company in more detail. The market is currently treating it as a quantum pure play similar to IonQ. However, its technology is fundamentally different and potentially even more disruptive. So rather than the superconductor trapped ion approaches that dominate the industry, this company uses DRAC freeze room temperature optical computing. And if validated, this would be the only quantum computing platform that can be deployed at the edge on ships, in field hospitals, on aircraft, and in military, including different bases around the world. Now, this edge quantum computing use case is still not articulated and priced into the current stock. Now, the second structural catalyst is the company could serve as the operating system for quantum computing, just as Microsoft did with its Windows for the PC generation. Okay, on to stock number 3, and that is D-Wave Quantum with the ticker symbol QBTS. This is also a beneficiary of the $2 billion government grant. So this company has actually received a $100 million government grant, and the US government will get around $100 million, of course, of equity. So you can think about this company as having a backstop by the US government. Now, this is also one of the few quantum companies with real commercial applications. So the company's Q1 26 revenue bookings were over $25 million, and it's basically driven by its annealing business and an emerging dual rate gate model technology. Now, in simple English, an annealer is basically the ultimate optimization engine, and it's designed to do one thing perfectly, and that is look at a problem from trillions of different possible combinations. Now, this could be supply chains, this could be healthcare, or even cyber security. Volkswagen in Lisbon used a D-Wave system to route a fleet of city buses. And a bank in Spain used D-Wave cloud service to optimize its bond portfolios and classify credit risk. Now, like many of these quantum companies, the company is still burning a lot of cash. So the company had deep net losses, minus $355 million in 2025, negative free cash flow, minus $76 million, and a relatively small revenue base around less than $25 million. Okay, so that is today's video. Remember, nothing in this video is financial advice. Quantum are still very speculative plays in the market. But if you want to know how to identify these plays earlier before they actually move big, and many other stocks just like this, including an options income system, feel free to check out the link below for our AI hedge fund system and apply for access. So we identify a few people and we give them very specific access, and we look for people who have an aligned philosophy and want to generate returns in the market. With that being said, I'll see you guys in the next one.